stop right there. You're looking at the exact moment Shane van Gisbergen, the most feared road racer in NASCAR, got exposed. And the guy who did it wasn't Larson, wasn't Harvick, wasn't anyone with a championship. It was Chris Buescher, in a Ford, that almost nobody was watching. NASCAR just changed Watkins Glen. Cooler temps, new barriers, longer race, and one driver quietly told his crew something in the debrief that nobody reported. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to look at Sunday's race completely differently. Let's go back. When Shane van Gisbergen showed up to NASCAR full-time, the road course conversation basically ended. Everyone else was racing for second. And look, that wasn't disrespect to the field. That was just honest. The man had spent years mastering tracks like this. Supercars racing, rally experience, attack instinct that most NASCAR drivers don't develop until it's too late. But here's the thing about drivers who attack. They leave gaps final lap. SVG has this thing controlled. He's checked out mentally. He's already thinking about the celebration. And then the rear breaks loose. Just a tenth of a second. Maybe less. But Buescher was right there. That move wasn't aggression. It was preparation. Because Buescher had spent months in a simulator studying exactly what SVG does under pressure at this specific corner. And what Buescher said in the debrief after that race is exactly why what NASCAR just did to this track changes everything. We'll get there. Keep watching. Most coverage of this race is going to focus on SVG's pace, Larson's setup, tire strategy. Nobody's talking about the structural change NASCAR made to this circuit. Here's what changed. Old Watkins Glen. You push too deep, you use the runoff, you rejoin, you maybe lose 2 positions. Annoying, but survivable. New Watkins Glen. You push too deep, you hit a tire pack, you destroy your front end, you collect whoever's behind you, and your day is over. That is not a small adjustment. That is NASCAR fundamentally rewriting the risk calculation for every single driver in that field, because here's the problem they were actually trying to solve. Drivers were using the runoff zones intentionally, not as a mistake, as a strategy. Go deep, miss the apex, blast through the escape road, rejoin 2 car lengths ahead. Repeat. NASCAR hated it. The other drivers hated it. And the fans had no idea whether what they were watching was skill or just cheating the layout. So they fixed it. But fixing one problem in motorsport has a way of creating a different one. And that's where this gets genuinely interesting. Let me tell you something about Chris Buescher that the algorithm won't show you. He is not exciting. He is not flashy. He doesn't make the highlight reel through aggression. He makes it through patience. While veterans were treating the road course calendar like a necessary inconvenience, Buescher was putting in 8-hour simulator sessions at Ford. Not because someone told him to. Because he genuinely believed data would eventually beat instinct 17 top 10s in his last 24 road course starts. That's not a fluke. That's a pattern. That's a driver who figured out something the field hasn't fully acknowledged yet. His long-run pace is almost always better than his qualifying pace, which means on a track that just got longer, with conditions that will push tire degradation higher, Buescher is structurally set up to move forward. Remember what I said about that debrief conversation. Here's what Buescher told his engineers after the win. He said the simulator called every single thing that happened on that final lap. The tire drop, SVG's braking point, his own exit speed. The data didn't lie. The track confirmed it. And now the track just got harder. Guess who already has data on the harder version now? I want to be careful here. Because SVG is still probably the most complete road racer in this field. But there's a specific conversation worth having. SVG's style is built on margin abuse. He attacks braking zones deeper than almost anyone. He uses every inch of curb. He pushes exit speed until the rear protests. On tracks with forgiveness built in, that style is basically unbeatable. But Watkins Glen just removed the forgiveness. The bus stop specifically is where this matters. SVG consistently brakes later there than the field. That's his time gain. That's his gap generator. But with tire packs now tightening the escape window, one late entry doesn't just cost a position. It could take out 3 cars. And here's the part that makes Sunday genuinely unpredictable. SVG won't change his style. That's not a criticism. That's just who he is as a racer. The question is whether the track changed enough that the style he built his reputation on becomes the thing that beats him. Because if it does, the window for everyone else just cracked open. And Buescher's team has already run the simulation's quick pause. If you're still here, You already know this race is more layered than the broadcast is going to tell you. So hit subscribe, because the pre-race breakdown drops Saturday, and if Buescher puts himself in position early, you're going to want that context before the race goes live. Back to it. Here's the tension nobody's saying out loud yet. NASCAR fixed the runoff exploitation problem, but in doing that, they may have made drivers too conservative. Road course passes at Watkins Glen happen in two places, the bus stop and the outer loop. If drivers are subconsciously giving those zones 2 extra feet of margin because of the tire packs, passing gets harder, racing gets more processional, and suddenly the fix creates the exact problem NASCAR was trying to avoid. A single-file parade with road course packaging, so what NASCAR actually built here is a risk-reward test. Attack the corner like SVG, high reward, higher penalty. Protect the corner like Buescher, consistent, calculated, survivable. Most years, attacking wins. But this year, with these conditions, with this layout, I'm not sure, and then the weather comes in. Cooler temperatures at Watkins Glen means one thing above everything else: more grip. More grip means faster corner speeds. Faster corner speeds mean harder braking. Harder braking means more stress on equipment that's already going to be pushed by a longer race distance. The brakes on these cars are going to be working harder than they have at this track in years. Tire degradation is unpredictable in cool weather. Sometimes it drops off sharper than anyone expects. And strategy calls that work in warm conditions completely fall apart when the grip window shifts. Which brings us back to the simulator. Buescher's team has been modeling cool weather tire data since the schedule dropped. They know what the drop-off looks like. They know where the cliff is. The question is whether anyone else does. I want to zoom out for a second, because this race isn't really about lap times. It's about a question NASCAR has been trying to answer for 2 years. Can you design a track, or redesign one, in a way that rewards the right kind of skill? Not just raw speed, not just mechanical grip, precision, patience, preparation. Shane van Gisbergen represents one answer: raw talent, instinct developed over a career. Attack until the track breaks. Chris Buescher represents another: data, discipline. Trust the work you did before you ever turned a wheel in anger. Last time these two faced each other here, the data driver won. NASCAR just made the track harder, the conditions more extreme, the mistakes more punishing. So the real question isn't who's faster. It's who prepared for this version of Watkins Glen. And only one of them has been in the simulator building data for it. So I want to know, do you think the new Watkins Glen rewards the attackers or the analysts? Drop attacker or analyst in the comments. And if Buescher wins this thing again, you heard it here before Sunday.